Is it out yet?
Came out Friday.
Awesome. Great timing. Yeah. Oh, dude, you on vinyl? That's awesome. How was the you played at Grimey's, right?
Yeah, it was fun. It felt like I'm really glad we did it. Because at least of all the things that I have lined up, there's no way of knowing what will
Yeah.
Stick around and whatnot. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to at least bring it into the world with a little show before we all retire to
Right.
our bedrooms.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Americana Station. Today our guest is Kellen of Troy. He came in right before everyone started quarantining, when the first cases of COVID-19 started showing up, which made for an interesting interview because all of the plans that he had for his record have changed dramatically. If you have the time and the resources, be sure to go listen to his music. Buy his record. It is on vinyl. I have a copy of it, and it sounds fantastic. I hope everyone's staying safe, washing their hands, keeping their distance from everyone, and just taking this time to catch up on all the things you wanted to catch up on. Hopefully you're listening to a lot of new music that you didn't have time to listen to before. There are a plethora of bands that have and songwriters that have stopped by this podcast, and if you've been an avid fan, I encourage you to look them up. I think I might just make a playlist of everyone who's been on the show, and once I do, I will post about it on the social medias and such. I myself have been kind of low-key the last few weeks. To be honest, I haven't really wanted to do anything musical. It's what I do for the entire year, and it was nice to have a few weeks of a break. I went out to Burgess Falls and went hiking, and I have been riding my bike a lot and trying to stay outside and enjoy the sunlight as much as possible. That's what I've been doing. I haven't really been writing songs, to be completely honest, but getting back into the groove now. I do want to take a moment to talk about one of my favorite songwriters that recently passed. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, then you're well aware of John Prine and probably what he means to the Nashville community. And he, this past week, passed away from COVID-19 complications, which is very heart-wrenching. And he's been one of the songwriters that I've looked up to the most, and I've seen him a few times in concert. I've had the blessing of doing that. But if you don't know who John Prine is, you should definitely go look him up as well and celebrate his life with everyone else, because he is an incredible songwriter and definitely an inspiration. And it's sad that his life has come to an end. But on a positive note, Kellen of Troy stopped by, and he has some great music and some great things to talk about here on this podcast episode. So tune in and buckle up. I'm working on some extra special episodes coming up. I've got my good friend Caleb Christopher Edwards is going to be the first repeat on Americana Station history. He was the very first episode about 2.5 years ago. And he has released his first solo record, Metamorphosis, and you should check that out as well. And he will be coming up. We did a phone interview, and since the whole pandemic has happened, I'm not able to get people in to record face-to-face. So this will be an interesting episode where we're recording each from our own end through the phone. And I'm also working on some other stuff for upcoming episodes to hopefully keep this going during this pandemic. So without further ado, let's talk about Kellen of Troy. Well, it's interesting because so many people are still playing shows currently here in Nashville, and I don't know. I don't think anyone knows what to do with themselves right now.
Yeah.
But this is great. So are you Catholic?
Nope.
No.
Not even a little bit. I mean, I have Catholic and like my birth family is Catholic and stuff, but yeah, I'm not.
Is that photoshopped in the K, or did you?
No, I made that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I cut that on my bandsaw and then went to the bead store down in 5 Points, which I'd never been to before. I was like, hey, I need to make a rosary. And so I learned how to make a rosary.
That's a very cool art concept.
Thanks.
So this is your first record, full-length record, right?
Second.
It's your second. Okay.
Yeah. I put out a record called Posthumous Release in 2018.
That's right. I heard you on the local show with Anna Lee. I
Yeah.
do remember. And you were playing a song about Nobody Cares Until You're Dead. Everyone loves you when you're dead. There it is. Side D on the record.
That's right.
That was a great song. I actually tuned in. I was just listening to the radio, and that song came on, and I turned it up. I was like,
nice.
oh, who's this?
Very
and I was
cool.
like, oh, cool. I'm actually interviewing this guy.
Yeah. Awesome.
So you said that so you did the Grammy show, and right now you're just kind of doing the press run. Do you plan on doing some later like summer dates? Or?
Yeah, I mean, after everything whenever we're back to normal, I mean, that was always the plan all along. Some things got sort of weird about the release, even predating all this, stuff that's going on. But yeah, would love to get out and give it a little attention after we're back to life as usual.
Yeah, it's a really strange time. We planned this originally the night after the tornado hit East Nashville, and so then we had to cancel that, and then and then we planned the next one, and then everybody starts isolating. But we're gonna make it work anyways. But yeah, that's it's a weird time to be touring and releasing music for sure. Yeah, it's such a interesting conundrum. I think a lot of songs will be written about it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of musicians are going to have nothing else to do but write songs.
Yeah, exactly. So you're mostly just promoting this, or I know you've been doing some side gigs. You play violin as well.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, I mean, I play for, a couple different folks from here in town and elsewhere. Right now, I've been sort of just focusing on getting this thing done and out. But yeah, everything's just on hiatus at the moment till we know what's going on, I suppose.
So when you write songs, do you typically write it all in one setting?
Yeah, there's I mean, I don't know how you write. I'm pretty lazy about writing. And then whenever, there's some people, and more power to them, I totally have so much respect for folks who are just like, I'm going to crank out 15 songs this month or whatever, I think that's a wonderful practice to have, but I'm much more of a passive writer. But then whenever I figure out whatever the thesis of a song is,
Yeah.
So Everyone Loves You When You're Dead, for example, I'd been sort of picking around with some of the chords for a minute, but not even that much. And then all of a sudden I was like, that's the thesis of the song. And then I go sort of manic about getting it done. And then it's like, okay, if it's not done in a day, it's done in the next day or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm the opposite in that I will sit for 2 hours, and when nothing else comes out, I will let it stew and stew and stew until it hits. And even if I start writing another song, I probably have 4 songs right now that just aren't all the way done. Right now I have a bridge to one song that I just can't get because I suck at bridges.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just keep coming back to it and then go write another song and come back to it until I get that bridge.
Yeah, no, once I get the scent of the thing, it's like I get tunnel vision, and I just have to get that one done. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes for whatever reason you can't get there. But more often than not, as soon as I'm like, it's like a dog on the trail or something. As soon as I have that, it's like, okay, I'm just chasing this one down till it's good to go. And then, yeah.
Do you mostly write on guitar, or do you switch out instruments?
Mostly guitar, sometimes piano. Sometimes I find pianos nice. Not that I'm clearly a shredder on either, but I'm even more limited on piano than guitar.
Yeah.
So sometimes those limitations are sort of nice,
It boxes you in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh yeah, just keep it as simple as possible because my hands literally can't do the thing I wish they could do.
Yeah, I find that I mostly write on guitar. I suck at piano, but I find that even changing the tuning, or like if I'm capoing it, uncapo it and play the normal chords, just something like that'll open up a voicing that'll change the way I write the melody, or maybe
absolutely.
Even make me put different chords in different places.
Yeah, sort of not fall into the same old bag of 5 tricks or whatever you have. That, yeah, I mean, we all have them, I think.
Yeah. So when you started in music, were you a songwriter first, or did you, was there a specific instrument you started on before you?
No, I grew up playing fiddle, doing like bluegrass stuff and whatnot, and then got into, I've always been a side guy, more or less, forever. I mean, like every, teenager with a guitar, I wrote as a kid. Yeah. But it wasn't until I started doing the Kellen of Troy stuff that I felt like I found finding a tone was always my problem. You put chords and harmonies together endlessly and melodies on top of that, but it was always the tone of the narrative that I always struggled with. I couldn't find something that worked for me. And whenever I finally found it, was also coincided with like starting the Kellen of Troy thing. So so that's been for the 2 decades that I've been playing music, it feels like a very newfound discovery,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I started out as a side guy as well, mostly playing bass and lead guitar and stuff like that. And I also found it hard to find my own voice. I think that I just copied everyone I loved for such a long time and never really sounded like me until, 5-7 years in. And then finally was like, oh, this is
right. Yeah.
This is who I am.
Yeah. That seems to be the hardest part, I don't know. You can rhyme words together. You can do all the tiny things, right? All the micro things, but getting to the macro of something that works all together is, I think, a really hard balancing act or something.
Yeah, I saw Jason Isbell posted on Twitter that writing a song is like solving a crossword puzzle while you're in therapy.
Yeah,
I think
that's great. That's a great.
Description.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how many songs did you record or did you write for this record?
Mostly 11. It's 11 tunes. I mean, there was some that didn't make it, of course, but I don't really count those because I just sort of know if a song's not working. I either fix it until it does work, or just I don't care about it anymore. So normally when I'm writing for a record, I get this one, for example, I got 7 or 8 done and started tracking it.
Oh, okay.
And because I knew they were all strong and I knew they all had a cohesion.
Where did you track at?
A little bit at the bomb shelter, and then at 2 of my buddies' home studios, Ryan McFadden and Adam Taylor's places, which are both in town. So, yeah.
And all the string arrangements, is that you?
Yeah, I arranged all the strings, and then we did it with a string quartet playing all the parts. So
that's awesome. It's beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
It's very beautiful, and it sounds huge. Bomb shelter is mostly to tape, right?
I've only ever worked there to Pro Tools, but I know that they do a lot of tape stuff there.
Okay.
I know that they're great at that, but the way that this record was made, there was no way to do it to tape, right?
I mean,
unless you have Clasp or something, there's no way to do that. So yeah, we weren't even from the onset we were like, yeah, there's no even point to entertaining that idea because this is just going to be piecemealed together.
Yeah. So since we're very unsure of touring, are you doing the whole online concert thing?
I haven't. I'm really, really bad with the internet, and I don't know a lot about it. I don't care for it much. So,
Bless you. Yeah.
yeah. I'm also highly addicted to it as a consumer, so there's that too, as I think a lot of us are. But I haven't checked that out at all. Have you gotten into that world? I mean, I know people are like doing it, which is cool.
Yeah, I've been hiding out, to be honest. I haven't really like a lot of my friends, everyone's on one of the two sides of like, oh, don't worry about it at all, or like panicking a lot. And I've just kind of been, if I'm being honest, sticking my head in the sand. I haven't been on social media very much because every time I get on, I just get frustrated and angry about everything. And then I've seen, I feel like it's funny because you see these people that you never see play out, and they're like, oh, tip me, let's go on. And you're like, but you don't even play out. Like, why do you think you're losing money? Where, some of us really are losing money.
Right.
So I don't know how to feel about it, honestly, because I think that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money. Some of my roommates are going to be losing a lot of money because they go out with bigger artists that have canceled tours and stuff like that. And I don't know what to do. I know that Music Cares is here to help, which is a beautiful organization. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them.
I mean, I know that they do a lot for the community. I've never worked with them in any way, but I hear that they have a great reputation.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit, and they're here to help out anyone in the music industry in their time of need, which is obviously right now, which is good. And I think they help with bills when you hit hard times and stuff like that. Yeah. So you can Google that, anyone listening that is in that boat. But I haven't looked into it. I've thought about it, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think my hesitation with it is it's hard enough to get people to come out to a show when there's not a pandemic going on.
Right.
So why do I think it'll be easier to get them to come out in a digital hellscape that is,
Yeah. That was kind of like me and my tour partner. That's kind of my joke is like, do you really think there's going to be 250 people at any of our shows? Like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we have to cancel, but it's one of those things where like, and I'm sure people listening now might be on the other side where they're like, it's your civic duty and responsibility to be, distance yourself. So it's a hard thing because I understand both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the online thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to do the online thing. I've seen a lot of people do it way before the pandemic anyway. I'm just interested to see how that pans out because musicians aren't the only ones losing money. A lot of people are losing money too, so they won't be able to afford to.
I mean, if anybody with a small business is going to be hurting, my wife is a chiropractor, and she's having the same conversation we're having of like, well, I want to be there to provide service to people, but I also don't want to add to the interactions and whatnot, but it's weighing keeping the doors open versus paying her employees versus not, there's 1,000 angles to all this stuff, it seems. And I think it's just a matter of trying to navigate it as best we can and with as much sort of compassion for other folks,
right?
However they, whatever their viewpoint is on it.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very well put in a very middle of the road way. I think that that it is going to be hard to tour even going into summer, just because of the whole situation. Because on one end, everyone's going to want to get out and do things, so maybe it will be easier. But on the other end, people might be also terrified, which could make it harder to nobody's going to want to commit to booking until we know where we're standing.
Yeah. And whenever we do start feeling comfortable with that, then there's going to be, the vacuum will have opened up, and every touring band, every touring musician will just like people ready to get out and enjoy a show, everybody who plays shows will be, chomping at the bit to get out too. So there'll be a ton of noise and a ton of, oversaturation, from no saturation.
Yeah. So where are you originally from?
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Well, you talked to Jen Starcynic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jen and I are friends from when we were from all around Lancaster, Hershey, Pennsylvania sort of area.
Okay.
So between Harrisburg and Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This part of our tour is supposed to be in Lancaster. No, sorry, Philadelphia, Glenside, I think.
Oh, nice. I'm so out of the loop with when I finished high school, I came down to Nashville and
So you've been here for a while.
rarely get back.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. People always ask me about, oh yeah, have you heard of this place in Philly or
Right.
this place in Lancaster? I'm like, I have no idea. I
No
just
idea.
grew up there.
Yeah. So they have a lot of bluegrass up there?
They had some, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing like Amish bluegrass festivals as a kid where there was more buggies than cars and sort of
That's awesome.
some stuff like that. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. My tour mate Veronica Stanton is from right outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, cool.
As well, and she's also a fiddle player. Must be something in the water there.
There's a ton of us from up there. I don't know, and a lot of us come down here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends up there who are in that scene.
So when you do hit the road, are you going to be going up to Pennsylvania? Where do you find your fan base typically is?
I haven't gotten out a whole lot with my own stuff, so I'm still working on navigating that process. I think there's a lot of one of the good things about things like Spotify and whatnot is I think that helps see what's going on, see who's taking in. So that's a perk of it, I suppose. But most of all of the touring I've done is as a side guy or as a band member for different various folks. And yeah.
Have you been playlisted any on Spotify?
Yeah, I've gotten some love from them, which is like wild to see the discrepancy between like a song that has almost 1 million streams versus, just because it's on a playlist.
Yeah.
So like, oh, cool. It's a fraction of that. Everything else compiled is a fraction of that. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. That's good. Is it the Heaven Online? Is that the single that they've been?
No. Well, the record just came out 2 days ago. So playlists take a second to trickle in, is my understanding, or at least what I've seen so far. No, it's a song off of my first release, which is an EP. Okay. It's called Purple Tongue. It's really funny though, like having, my most popular song be an afterthought of the first, it's all B-sides from the first record. So it's it's interesting for that to be what, the world best knows as something. I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't make it on the record for a reason, but stoked that people are listening.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I had a song that I almost cut from the record that ended up getting some coverage and some publications and stuff where I was like not even planning on putting it on the record. I didn't think it fit, and then it got the most coverage.
Exactly, yeah. That's how it goes. I think that's why it's important for the artist to not have a say in any of that stuff, because we're too in the thing, right? It's like you need somebody with a more objective opinion as opposed to to be able to see the bigger picture of it.
So who gives you the objective opinion?
I mean, publicist, manager,
Yeah.
It used to be, on the times that I've had labels involved, A&R, there's always, everybody wants to give you their opinion.
I didn't know if you were you went to your wife. Is she a musician?
No, she's not. Well,
hey, what do you think?
Yeah, no, she, when I met her, she was playing fiddle. Actually, she started playing fiddle, but then I think we met, and then I've never heard her play it ever since. But no, she's not a musician. She's a chiropractor and doctor and does sort of witchy, holistic healing stuff, very incredibly intelligent. But I do seek her approval for a lot of it. I'm like, hey, I finished the song. Does it work? And I can generally tell. She always says it works, but I can tell from the reaction whether it actually works or not. Yeah.
Well, you sometimes some of your songwriter friends will, depending on who you're talking to, not be as objective. They might be more how they would write it, and so you can't get the best feedback from them. But if you give it to someone who's not a songwriter, they can be a lot more objective about if it's good.
I don't know. I remember I was working on one record once, and the producer his and what turned into be our go-to was he had like a 4 and a 6-year-old, and that
That's
was
amazing.
honestly like the best thing, because like a good song should be simple and catchy first and foremost.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make any kind of popular music, which I think is what we all do, in this world at least. So yeah, he was like, "Good news, guys! I played what we worked on yesterday for the kids, and they liked it, so that means it'll work." I was like, man, that's a really good insight.
It's true because my sister has 3 kids, and the ones that they sing along to are usually the ones that people like the most.
Yeah,
So maybe I need to.
yeah. They have no
Pass my-
filter. They don't.
Yeah.
They have no sense of credibility or sense of anything. They just know if they like it or not.
Right,
As
yeah.
opposed to like, I don't know, some lofty goals of getting it or not getting it, or stuff like that. It's just like, no, it's catchy. I like it.
Yeah, or when we lie to ourselves and we're like, this song, because you love the lyrics so much, and you're like, well, you just wouldn't understand. You don't get
Right.
it. It's
I just feel so much more than you do. That so I understand why you don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, man, it's so hard to talk about music right now with the whole coronavirus thing and the plans being all screwed up.
And it's just crazy too that the tornado is already an afterthought.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like
all the
what is the timing? What's going on? How is it that hundreds of people's homes are destroyed and we
Yeah.
haven't I
but we
totally
can't go
agree.
touch them and help them and
Right.
And I've seen so many what is it? Is today Sunday? Yeah, today's Sunday. Today was supposed to be the tornado relief that they were doing at the American Legion,
Mm-hmm.
and it got postponed because of the whole pandemic and everybody wanting to stay away from large groups. But I think it's just it's been one thing after another, and we can't catch our breaths, and it's real hard to have solid footing right now on like what's gonna happen
Right.
next.
Do you remember? Because it's been, the longest year ever in these 3 months, and I was joking with I think my wife last night about how it's like, remember when we were all like, stoked on 2020?
Yeah.
3 months ago, and it's like, man, it really has come out swinging, huh?
I know. We've been saying every year is going to be our year since like 2016. It's
Right.
This is our year,
Yeah.
and then we just keep getting knocked down. I don't know. I think it will get better. I think it'll get a lot better, and I think once we come out the other side, life will be even more exciting.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. Is all these songwriters that have been writing sad songs are going to be sitting at home waiting, like having that hope of like everything clearing, and there'll be a lot more positive thoughts and vibes and stuff like that going forward.
Yeah, we all might come out the other end a little more appreciative and whatnot.
I think so. I hope so. Yeah. So, what other plans do you have? So we haven't figured out touring yet because of everything.
Yeah, I guess it seems like a good time to start writing another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to find the silver lining in all of it.
Yeah. Are you, so you did the local show. Are you doing, I know they canceled a couple of weeks of the, Finally Fridays. Are you doing anything else in town for?
Oh, did they cancel the Finally Fridays too? Yep. Okay. Well, not doing that one then. Yeah. I mean, we're just in a holding pattern, like because 5 Spot shut down.
Yeah.
You
Were
know,
you doing your
I
release
had
there?
something there?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
lined up. Doing the WSMV, the local TV thing in April, but we'll see if that's what's up with that. Have a show at Tennessee Brewworks on April 11th. We'll see what's up with that. Just trying to hit some, at least get around town a little bit, but who knows what the status of all that will be. So
Yeah. So when you're not promoting the record, you're usually writing. Are you doing anything else?
it just depends on the season, touring
Yeah.
with different folks, trying to write. Just sort of, take it day by day, week by week, so on and so forth.
And you have a band for this project, or you take?
Yeah, it's a rotating cast of,
Okay.
of folks, but I've been playing with somebody's Grant Gustafson and Matt Novotny and Kevin Whitsitt. We're all the band for this run of shows, but
Yeah.
we might have had our one and done the other night. So
Yeah.
But
Well, this is such a mess, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna give it. So some of the people that you've played with, it says here, includes Desert Noises, who we were just talking about off mic. Actually, some of those dudes used to live in here.
yeah,
in my house.
that's why. Because I remember when they moved to town, and I forgot it when I was pulling up, but I remember seeing their beige, van with Utah plates out here all the time.
Yeah.
It was almost the color of your walls in here, actually, just a little bit later.
That's so funny. Pat used to live in my room, actually,
And he's playing with Microwave Mountain. Is he still doing that?
He is. He comes
love
down
those.
for shows. He's or up, I guess. He's in Atlanta now,
Oh, okay.
but he's still doing Microwave Mountain as well. So you've toured. It says here that at least you've done some stuff with J.P. Harris,
Mm-hmm.
the Wild Feathers.
Yeah, they were on that same tour that I toured with Desert Noises, and I was playing with Apache Relay at the time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And mostly fiddle for.
That was that was fiddle and keys mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's very cool. So what would you call your style? Because I mean, this is obviously an Americana podcast, and it falls in the Americana category, but it seems a little bit slightly, at least this record, of an outlier.
yeah, I mean, I think I've been thinking about this a lot because I mean, obviously everybody struggles with this, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, to me, it's very much sort of pop music that inspired me, especially stuff from Wrecking Crew recordings and Simon and Garfunkel from New York and different stuff like that, which now I think people would call more folk rock
Yeah.
or something. But the Laurel Canyon sound used to be mainstream, and now
Right.
it's a niche hipster thing or whatever. I don't know how niche it is, I suppose, but yeah, to me it's all just to me it all sounds, like pop songwriting, verse pre-chorus, chorus, verse pre-chorus, chorus,
Yeah.
bridge, chorus. It's just sort of what flavor you put on the thing, and
Right.
I feel like this record has a little more sort of lush, glossy stuff,
Yeah.
but it's still meant to,
It's like pop songwriting for intelligent people or something.
all right, cool, I'll take that.
It seems like, but I mean,
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, you can quote me on that. But it definitely still has like a lot of, like you said with the Laurel Canyon, it still has a lot of Americana elements to it, and it's like, I imagine when you play out, it's got a slightly different sound than the record.
Yeah, well, I mean, it always sort of leans more into what I suppose you would say is Americana out, because there's not there's not an 8-piece string section behind it, and there's not a
No?
percussionist. Yeah, no, go figure. But yeah. So, but I think the songs, I think a good song can translate in whatever format it's in. And all the songs here, I tried to make sure they met whatever my standard of that is. So, whatever flavor the interpretation is, I think it still works.
Yeah, and hopefully venues open soon, so people can come see. This will be out probably around the beginning of April, so by that time I'll be able to inform people
Right.
in the beginning, in the intro, of any of the shows that you got coming up.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
hopefully there's a lot more and some gets rescheduled. But I'd love to hear some tunes if you want to play some for us.
Yeah, I would love to.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. This one is called Heaven Online. When the alien invaders eventually arrive, they'll be a little disappointed with what they come to find. This place doesn't look anything like they said it does online. And now that I see it for myself, I think that I am gonna unsubscribe. Celebrity dogs, paleo blogs, the hottest new trends. Hollywood gossip, who wore it best, toss-ups, perpetual weekends. We're under the spell of this digital hell, but in the end, you know everything's fine. It's not heaven on earth, but it's heaven online. And when humanity's creator returns to save our souls, she'll be a little bit annoyed with our newfound status quo. Of all the beauty that I made for you in Mother Nature to behold, it seems you couldn't give a damn unless you see it on your cellular phone. Prepubescent pop stars, the dash cams of cop cars, political outrage, bohemian provisions, anonymous opinions, couple pics from backstage. We're under the spell of this digital hell, but what do they say? Oh yeah, everything's fine. It's not heaven on earth, but it's heaven online. And when the time's upon us to take a final rest, which Instagram filter will document eternity best? Inspiring mantras, some trolls that'll taunt you. Take the good with the bad. Reality suspension, our greatest invention, best idea we ever had. We're under the spell of this digital hell, but everything's rad. Oh yeah, everything's fine. It's not heaven on earth, but it's heaven online. It's not heaven on earth, but it's heaven online.
Thanks so much, Kellen of Troy, for being on the podcast. Really enjoyed having the chance to speak with you. Hopefully, after all this pandemic stuff is over, we can get back to hearing Kellen of Troy live along with everyone else. He actually recorded a second song for us for this session, so I'm going to be playing this at the end after this bit. So stick around if you want to hear another acoustic song from Kellen of Troy. Up next on the podcast will be my good friend Caleb Christopher Edwards. He released a new record called Metamorphosis, and it is out independently. He also plays with the bands Runa and Lateral Blue. He's an excellent mandolin player and a good friend, and I'm happy to have him on remotely during this quarantine to give you additional content. And stay tuned for the next episode of Americana Station, and we're going to play it out with a live acoustic take of Kellen of Troy here.
Please don't listen too closely, and don't try to discern any original meaning from these recycled words. I'm gonna pull on your heartstrings and make you think about home. Tell you you're better off dancing than just standing alone. It's something new that sounds familiar, the oldest trick to get a record sold. I'd like to rewrite you some tune we already know, a big chorus just for us. Sing along, we all know how it goes. You're gonna be disappointed if you go looking to find anything but the music in between these lines. And I'll be a friendly little outlaw, your indie cheerleader too. And if I sing about nothing, then I got nothing to lose. 'Cause something vague can be configured to mean whatever you want it to. I'd like to rewrite you some tune we already know, a big chorus just for us. Sing along, we all know how it goes. I'm going down, but I won't tell you where or why. I can assure you I'm such a troubled guy, but everything will work out, just give it time, give it time. And party hard till the clock strikes 3 a.m. Keep going if you're out with all your friends. It makes sense if you sing it over again and over again and over again and over again. And I'd like to rewrite you some tune we already know, a big chorus just for us. Sing along, we all know how it goes. And I'd like to rewrite you some tune we already know, a big chorus just for us. Sing along, we